Always love talking to Ben Cates. I had a chance to catch up with him Monday via the telephone. We kind of did an extended goodbye. He had a kind of abrupt goodbye Friday in the paper. It was kind of just the mercy of corporate layoffs. You don't know it's coming. It came, and unfortunately been a victim. But we're the real victims in Lynchburg because we won't be able to read Ben Cates' outstanding writing. Bryson Gordon is still there, and we should all give him love. But right now, it's all about Cates. Get your hearts out. Get your signs out. Ben Cates on the Sports Buffet podcast. Ben Cates joins me on the Sports Buffet. Once that Twitter bio changes, I'm unsure of how to announce people sometimes. Kind of a weird situation. Let's talk about the fact that you're going to miss Lynchburg and not be able to cover what you were used to covering on Friday nights and so forth and so on.
Yeah, Bob, thanks for having me. So I got caught in some corporate mass layoffs that were happening this weekend on Friday, and so I was editor, writer, columnist, part-time photographer, whatever you kind of want to call it, at uh, at the News in Advance, and was there for 15 years, and so as of Friday, no longer there. And so just kind of like was fortunate enough to wrap up my career at the paper on Friday with a goodbye column and kind of was able to get my stuff and walk through the office again and kind of reminisce a little bit and now it's on to the next thing.
Aside from not receiving a paycheck, what's the worst part? I mean, you get to do the mass goodbye in the paper, but I feel like the guys that you were used to covering, you don't get to really say you have the swan song, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's so many coaches. I think like a lot of times you try to stay in touch with coaches kind of all the time, ones that you have good relationships with, but it is a seasonal kind of thing, and so it stinks to to leave and not be able to say goodbye to some of those winter and spring coaches, kind of in the season. And then in the middle of football, that's really tough too. Like you're in the middle, literally the middle of the season. Week 6 they're going into now, and and so to leave in the middle of all that after you've covered half a season and you've been planning things that you've planned for the next few weeks ahead, and storylines that you were keeping an eye on for possible stories there, and things you're just not going to be able to do anymore, and people are going to all of a sudden just not going to be talking to you in a professional capacity anymore. And so that's difficult, I think, just because when you've been doing this as long as I have, you're used to talking to people on a weekly basis, and you're used to really, investing yourselves in the lives of kids in the area, and when that goes, I guess it's a little bit hard, and you know. I think any sports writer who is no longer a sports writer has a period of recovery. I feel like a lot of people do, and so I'm kind of past couple of days just kind of it's sinking in that I'm not a sports reporter right now, and so if I want to pursue it in the future, that's what I'm going to do. But at the moment, it's kind of like wow, it's kind of sinking in that you're not a sports writer at the moment. So. Keep your head up and keep going. That's all I can do.
Got a lot to keep you busy with family and everything like that, though. So
Yeah,
it's not like you're going totally empty and totally off the grid.
exactly.
How weird is it to watch a game, whether it's on TV or in person, as a fan, as opposed to oh crap, I've got to get a story written for this game in 2 to 3 hours.
It's really fun. I think there was a time there was for whatever reason, whether it was just because I was really busy or I just wasn't spending money on tickets or anything. There was just a time where I wasn't going to a lot of college or pro games or anything, and started doing that recently within the past year or so, I guess, couple years. So I started going to more UNC basketball games, and went to an Orioles game this year when this month when they celebrated the 30th anniversary of Cal Ripken's 21-31, and he's a big hero of mine, and so that was just a thrill, and it's just so much fun to sit back and not have to worry about writing a game story. It is weird being a sports reporter because you're like how would I write this if
Right.
I were working right now? I think everybody thinks that, but it is fun just to sit back, not keep stats, or sometimes I just keep stats for the heck of it, and you're not under the gun, right? You don't have to keep the best math in the
Right.
world, but it is super fun.
Yeah,
Just to sit back and relax and enjoy that for once. Is it feels really good sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was gonna say, if you go to an Orioles game or something and you want to do what so many fathers and sons do, which is, keep score, it's not like you're the guy that's got to send it to the
Mm.
Baltimore Sun or whatever. So
Hmm.
it's kind of, I would say, probably a lot more relaxing. Dwayne will be inconsolable, but I'll get him through after some UNC talk or something. I don't want to make you do like, a top five or a Mount Rushmore, but just hit on just a few guys because I know you covered EC Glass a lot, especially because they had that run in basketball with Coach Best. And I would see you at Heritage games a ton because a lot of people have to understand about local sports. Proximity is a big thing a lot of times because it helps get
Yeah.
deadlines and everything covered. Talk about those two guys
Yeah.
real quick.
You were saying Brad and
DJ.
DJ. Talked to both of those guys and this past weekend, and just like some other coaches that I've heard from, just really wonderful guys. Brad is already saying that he's looking out for me, trying to look for jobs for me, and that's just so nice. DJ has just been so warm and welcoming, and this whole time, and those are two guys that have really done their programs right, and I can think of a lot of others who do a really good job too. Those are two guys in the city, I think, who are really proud and should be proud of the work that they've done, and who also invest in the lives of kids around them. And I think it makes them better coaches, and I think it makes them, you know, their guys really want to play for them, because when you're out there and you're willing to do whatever you have to do for the welfare of your players, and you're letting them know you're going to get in the trenches with them, you're going to get in the middle of the court with them, and all that kind of stuff. They can appreciate that, and they relate to it, and they love it, frankly. So those are two guys who have really, I think, made an impact on the city in recent years, and gosh, I mean, it's overwhelming amount of respect for some of those guys who who have been really good at their craft, and who could have, frankly, gone on elsewhere to bigger jobs, but choose to stay sort of in the trenches and do what they love, and that's admirable.
Final thing, and we're definitely going to keep in touch. I've got you on speed dial. I've informed you already. Let me know if your number changes. You can always come talk sports with us. Maybe the Ben Cates podcast or the Ben Cates blog will be coming
No, man,
at
that'd be
some
fun.
point soon. So, hey, some old music. I know some people were dying to hear that old music talk from Ben Cates. Um, so, one thing, if you, end of the day, how does Ben Cates want to be remembered for what he did at the news and events?
Oh man, that's tough. Well, it's just not that tough. It's tough to put into words. But it, I think all along I just really wanted to. Um, Everybody kind of says they want to go beyond the box score, but I really just wanted to know what makes people tick, and I kind of relate it to, like, if you're at the beach or something, and you're out in the surf, and you're just kind of like looking at seashells or something. You just turn over and examine things, like to turn over, examine like living little organisms and stuff. Maybe when you were a kid or something. That's kind of what I wanted to do. I've always been really curious, and so I just try to inspect people's lives, and get down to what makes them want to do what they do. And so I think I would like to be remembered at the News in Advance as somebody who really cared about the lives of our athletes, and really went, especially into inner city kind of areas, schools, communities, homes, even, to meet with kids and to talk with kids and to really understand where they come from. And I think when you do that, you really get a really good picture of what the area is all about, and what kids' hopes and dreams are, and their families' hopes and dreams, and and that's really what it's all about. And that's why I think sports, kind of is a vehicle for not just sports itself. It's a vehicle for life, and I really do believe that. And so that's kind of what I've always wanted to do, and I was lucky enough to do it there. I hope that people, if they ever do think about the coverage in our newspaper, I hope they think of me as somebody who cared.
I think they'll think of you in good light. Always appreciate it. We'll talk to you down the line, and thanks for all you did for high school sports and everything.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate you, man.
You just heard from Ben Cates, Sports Buffet Podcast. We'll have him on more. He is a big older school music fan, really supported the music that we did on 102.3 The Groove, where you can hear heritage games. Ben would always come up and say, hey, do you need me? He would text me and say, hey, do you need me to interview tonight? Because Ben was that guy that I would consider The Rock. Not Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, but just The Rock that you could count on. He would help you out if you needed it. And Ben Cates, to me, is a great example of you treat people kindly, they do so in return. I mean, if Ben couldn't do something, he would tell me he couldn't do it, and guess what? Life moved on. I thought no less of the man whatsoever. Ben Cates will definitely be missed in the Lynchburg area. I'd put him maybe on that Mount Rushmore of people who covered sports well. I mean, to me, the greatest sports writer that I've ever written is Robert Anderson. But Ben Cates and Robert are sitting at the same table for lunch. Tim Hayes is right there with them too. It takes an art to be a good writer, and I feel that Ben Cates was that. And if you looked on social media and saw what Emily Brown, who used to be at the News and Event, shared, it was such glowing words for Ben, and I know Bryson Gordon will talk highly about him as well. I asked Ben what he wanted his legacy to be, and I think of Ben's legacy as I made the team around me better, because Emily and Bryson are a little bit younger than Ben, I think, and I think Ben gets credit from them for making them better writers too, especially on a prep scene, because I think Ben did a really good job for the prep scene. Of course, the prep scene in Lynchburg has been covered by numerous people over the years. And, it's not an easy job. It's a thankless job, and it's a job to where you never do it right, because if I remember reading one time and talking about it with people wanted you to be there when the upset happened. Well, if it was such a big upset, that's why we're not there in the first place, because we're going to be at the best game, because there's not as many people to cover these games. But I feel like Ben did a great job covering. If he wasn't covering, he was back at home base answering phone calls. Ben took stats. Ben wrote. Ben reported. Ben did a great job. As a friend, Ben is, first off, he's not dying, so let's not eulogize him. But as a friend, Ben is top-notch. I always will appreciate his friendship. And hey, friendships don't go away just because people move or change jobs. Friendships continue to grow, and I am grateful for Ben. When we ended our call off air, the last thing Ben said to me is something I'll remember. He said, take care, buddy. And I think when you hear the words buddy or friend, or even more, take care. Hey, I love you. You're doing great. Keep it up. Thank you. Anything that is a positive salutation like that, I really think you think about, hey, this is more than just I'm interviewing a guy. And it's always something I strive for with the Sports Buffet. And you heard Ben talk about it. I mean, Brad Bradley is already talking to Ben, hey, this sucks. I'm going to be looking out for you. Those are the types of things that people want in this world. And if high school sports does nothing else but make relationships, then that's a big thing high school sports has to do. Last year, GW Danville came up to EC Glass for the basketball playoffs, and I remember DJ Best's wife saying hi to Ben as Ben and I were in the coach's office getting ready to interview Coach Best. And I think when you have relationships like that, it shows that you've done more than just, covered somebody for the paper. And I mean, Ben, if we go back and look, has done a lot of what I would call human interest stories, not just about 52-47, but I know he covered DJ Best when Coach Best came back from his health issues, and so much more. Ben Cates, top notch. Now I'm done praising him. Sports Buffet continues in the future. Be sure to keep listening.